First World War. The First World War was a global conflict that lasted from 1914 to 1918, involving the world's major powers. It was one of the deadliest and most destructive wars in history, with an estimated 10 million military deaths and an additional 7 million civilian deaths. The war had a profound impact on the world, reshaping the political, economic, and social landscape of the 20th century. The origins of the First World War can be traced back to the complex web of alliances and rivalries that existed among the major European powers at the time. In the years leading up to the war, tensions were high, with each country seeking to expand its influence and secure its interests. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary by a Serbian nationalist in June 1914 was the spark that ignited the conflict. The war quickly escalated, with countries mobilizing their armies and declaring war on each other. The German invasion of Belgium and France in August 1914 drew Britain and other European powers into the conflict. The war soon spread to other parts of the world, with battles taking place in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. The First World War was characterized by trench warfare, with soldiers on both sides digging elaborate networks of trenches to protect themselves from enemy fire. The conditions in the trenches were harsh, with soldiers facing constant danger from enemy attacks, disease, and exposure to the elements. The use of new technologies, such as machine guns, tanks, and poison gas, made the fighting even more deadly and brutal. Despite the immense human cost of the war, it did not end quickly. The war dragged on for 4 long years, with neither side able to gain a decisive advantage. In 1917, the United States entered the war on the side of the Allies, providing a much-needed boost to their military and economic strength. The war finally came to an end in November 1918, when Germany signed the Armistice of Compiègne, effectively surrendering to the Allies. The aftermath of the First World War was marked by profound changes in the political and social order of Europe. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, imposed harsh penalties on Germany and its allies, including massive reparations payments and the loss of territory. The treaty also created the League of Nations, a precursor to the United Nations, aimed at promoting peace and cooperation among nations. The war had a lasting impact on the world, leading to the rise of totalitarian regimes, the collapse of empires, and the birth of new nations. It also set the stage for the Second World War, which would begin just 2 decades later. The legacy of the First World War continues to be felt today, shaping the political and social landscape of the 21st century. In conclusion, the First World War was a catastrophic event that had a profound impact on the world. It was a war of unprecedented scale and brutality, with a staggering human cost. The war changed the course of history, reshaping the political and social order of the 20th century. Despite its horrific nature, the war also gave rise to new forms of international cooperation, and the idea of a global community, an idea that remains relevant and important today.